Hello and welcome into another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. We are connected with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. We finally have games to talk about. Match day one is in the books. I'm Alex Dono alongside, as always, Jerry Mancini. Jerry is repping Lazio. This is not officially Inter gear, but I'm wearing black and blue. You can see an old school Umbro Inter jersey from the late 1990s hanging behind me. Jerry, how are you? And I know that your heart has been heavy with something, and I know this doesn't tie directly to the Calcio community, but you are very much a hockey fan living up there north of the border, and there's a big sad story that's been sweeping the sports world this week.
Yeah, it's Ben Stelter, who is 6 years old and lives in Alberta, and he died of cancer. I believe he had a tumor, but it's sad because it really hit me the last couple of days. Like the past week, I've really thought about it, but I don't really tweet about that stuff because it's a sensitive topic, and I know that the family's been very open about it online, but when you see a parent lose a 6-year-old, it's devastating because
Awful.
you don't want to see any family go through that kind of experience. So our condolences to the family, and it hits me because me being myself, it's funny because I guess you can say this is a Jerry story slash not really funny one, but my grandmother would always tell me since I was growing up, she's like, you know that you're lucky to be alive, and she tells me all the time, and I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you should have been dead when you were born. I'm like, why? Like, you were in an incubator for 3 months, and I stayed by you,
Whoa,
and she's like, I stayed by you for 3 months, and
man.
so for myself growing up, I was fortunate that nothing happened to me and that I kind of survived whatever. I had breathing problems when I was growing up, so it's so my parents are fortunate that nothing ever happened to me, and then I'm also lucky to have a father where he was in a car accident and his car blew up at a gas station,
Oh my
and
God.
his skin is 95% fake, so you would see it's kind of wrinkly, and I've gone through some tough experiences in my life. So for I could have been without a father all my life, and my parents could have been without me all their life. So it's I see what the Stelter family is going through, and it's really sad. And I know they're not going to listen to this, and I hope that parents don't have to always ever have to go through this experience because I don't have a kid, but you yourself having a kid, it's devastating, and I hope that the family pulls through
Yeah.
and that they hang in there. It's sad, and that's all I wanted to say really.
Yeah.
I know this is a Calcio pod, but sometimes I just like to remind that there are more important things in life, and that we sometimes forget that sports takes over our life, and it's not the biggest thing that's very important. There are other things that happen and kind of reminds us of what's really important: our family, our friends, the ones we love. Just really opening our minds. So yeah.
No, that's well said. And as you mentioned, I'm a parent of a 4-year-old boy who I thank the Lord every day. He's healthy. I mean, he's hyperactive. He challenges me as a parent every single day. But he's a healthy kid, which is just the most important thing in the world. And I can't imagine what it would be like to go through what that little boy's family is going through. So prayers to them, and prayers to everyone who now feels like that young man was a part of their lives because he caught fame, and I think I'm glad that sports and the Oilers were able to make him a little bit happy with everything that he was going through. So welcome in everyone. I see our guy Cartel is in the live chat, and guys, make sure if you're watching us live, partake in the live chat, my friends. We have a lot of fun in here, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button, the like button on this video. First match day in the books, Jerry. About as routine as you can possibly get for a first Serie A match day. All of the contending teams, whether it be contending for Scudetto or contending for European spots, They took care of business and they got their 3 points. The style points were not the same for all of the winners, but the defending champs Milan got their 4-2 victory at home against Udinese. These are the Saturday results first. Atalanta got a 2-0. Didn't really look great, but got a 2-0 against Samp. Inter at the death got a 2-1 on the road against Lecce. Let's go to Sunday's games. Lazio, Jerry's Lazio. A little bit of a scare down to 10, but then Bologna went down to 10 men as well. Lazio get the 2-1 victory, and King Chiro scored his first goal of the season there. And you had a couple of contending teams win on Monday as well, with Napoli getting the 5-2 against Hellas Verona, and Juventus looking really good, I must say, with Di Maria opening up his account at Juventus in his first match for the Bianconeri. They got the 3-0 win at home against Sassuolo. So we didn't have any shocking results, Jerry. I mean, we nearly had one on Saturday with my Inter, and maybe we'll start there. Then we'll talk a little bit about Lazio. My most important takeaway always is get the 3 points. It's like our friends at the Serie A sit down, Frank and Richard always say, it's about 3 points, not about style points. And Inter did get their 3 points. There was obviously some very good, some very bad in that match. It was great to see Romelu Lukaku back scoring for Inter. He got the opening goal less than 90 seconds into the match, which certainly got me excited and it had me thinking we're on our way to a track meet, right? You score 90 seconds in against Lecce, and it was actually 3 years ago. Lukaku's first match at Inter was against Lecce, and Inter, I think, had a 4-0 win in that one. I thought I think that one was in Milano, though, this one on the road. I thought, we're headed to another like 4-0, 5-0 type of track meet. Lecce did get an equalizer in the early minutes of the second half, and then they defended with their lives, and they were literally seconds away from coming away with the point. There were some things refereeing I wasn't thrilled about. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying this is a conspiracy. I think bad refereeing happens everywhere in football, but I thought Lecce could have had a man sent off in the first half on a foul against Lautaro. And I also thought Edin Dzeko should have earned himself a penalty kick in the second half that was not given. But at the death, Jerry, there were 4 minutes of added time. In the 94th minute, Denzel Dumfries scored off of a playable part of his body. It wasn't an arm. I'm not sure if it was a thigh, if it was the midsection, if it was the groin. Dumfries scored off of something, a very clutch goal. And so my biggest positive takeaway, Jerry, with Inter was I thought they showed great mentality. Just watching the match, I had given up on 3 points, in those closing minutes. I thought, this is just going to ruin my week. Inter start off with a draw in a match they should have won because they created so many more chances than Lecce did. So I was happy with the mentality. I thought it was pretty neat the way that the Inter players celebrated on the pitch afterwards. I know some rival fans were like, why are these guys acting like a 2-1 victor over Lecce is a big deal? I think when you win it like that, the way that they did, it is a big deal. And those 3 points could go a long way later in the season. So I enjoyed the mentality. At the same time, Jerry, on the negative side, they were sloppy. The attack looks far from a finished product. I think that Lukaku and Lautaro are still trying to sort of refigure out and rediscover the magic that they had 2 seasons ago. Jerry, are you a white hat? Well, welcome into Figo. Lord Figo is in it. Yeah, Figo, Inter are tied for first. So the Scudetto hunt is on. Welcome in, Figo. So, Jerry, what were your big takeaways from Lecce Inter, where Inter were able to snatch 3 points when we nearly thought they were dropping a pair?
I was fine till Lord Figo decides to drop a line out of nowhere and throws
that dude.
Throws a single there. I was really amazed that they started off really well. They get a goal in the second minute, and you think Inter is going to be gone up and running in this
Track
game.
meet, I thought.
And then all of a sudden, it just became a very rugged match. And when you look at Simone Inzaghi and how sweaty he was, that is it just came to my mind right now. That just showed how hot it was playing there. Like they had to move this game to 2:45, which is 8:45 at night. and like 80, I think 8:45
Yeah,
or 9:45.
8:45.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8:45. So like pushing that game late, and apparently I heard on Italian the Italian podcast of Nima, um, he said it like it's really hot where they were playing in Lecce. So
Mhm.
that is a factor. As the game wore on, you can see
Also the pitch, I'm just
the
throwing
pitch
this out
terrible,
there. The pitch was
terrible.
awful, awful.
So I don't think that this whole game allowed to see how Inter is going to be this season. I think there's a lot of factors that affected both sides and kind of helped Lecce because they had a crowd. Inter's buses broke down and the fans couldn't get there. Apparently, I saw that
Right.
on Twitter.
Yeah, you're right.
There was just a lot of things that building up, but I thought that Inzaghi really managed this game very differently for the first time I've noticed, where he went to a 3-4-3 and he kind of shifted his formation a lot, and he wasn't scared to take a chance in the first game of the season to get the win. Like he brought on 4 attackers, and what I'll give you the negative of what I thought in this game. Okay, the negative is that DiMarco cannot play defense. He's
No,
not a fullback. I'm
no.
sorry,
He's a
but
he's a good crosser, good free kick taker, decent coming forward. But yeah, he's not a center back.
he's not a center back. I'm sorry, but when he shifted to wing back, I thought that he was very effective there and was able to kind of get in behind the defense and be more creative and attacking wise. And I think that if he plays as a wing back, he'll have support from the center backs to help him
Right.
defensively. Um, I thought Lukaku had a really good game. I don't think he was bad. He looked really confident. Dumfries was really
He had
good
a
off the bench.
he was the man. I mean, not just because he scored the winner. I thought he was the man of the match. I thought he looked dangerous throughout.
Yeah, he came off the bench and he really kind of gave something different that they were missing from their wing backs. I think Gosens needs time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge him. I think the injury has really slowed him down, and he's not the same player he was a year ago. I think he's going to need some time. But yeah, overall, like I thought that Mkhitaryan was good too in his cameo there and
And
coming off. And like,
I think he's hurt now. I think he's
is
going to
he
miss some
really?
time. Yeah, I think I
Oh,
saw that
buzz.
he's going to miss some time now.
Like, oh wow, I thought Mkhitaryan. I tell you, Hakan was not bad, and Barella looked really engaged. Missed a few chances, and you got Brozovic. I think the three were gave balance in the midfield. The challenge on Lautaro
Yeah. By the way,
Martinez.
I just want to add to that. Mkhitaryan, he's out for 2 to 3 weeks with a thigh strain. He's hoping to be back in time for the Milan derby. So he's going to miss not months, but he's going to miss a few weeks.
Well, that's beneficial for Lazio, but not for Inter next
Yeah.
week. But
Yeah.
but yeah, overall, I just thought that Inzaghi actually managed the game okay. He didn't sit back and make his same mistakes and wait till the last minute. I thought that he was kind of proactive in this game, and made the changes when he had to. Um, I'll say this: I didn't see much from Correa. I'm not saying that because he's
Nobody
Lazio.
did.
I didn't think
Nobody
he
did.
did. I didn't think. I think he was the least ineffective player for the team.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that he still hasn't been able to like just give something since the Verona game of last year. But yeah, as for Lecce, you know what? My man of the match, and it's not going to go to anybody on Inter. My man of
Hmm.
the match is going to go to Falcone.
Okay.
Falcone was a beast for Lecce. He made at least 5 or 6 unbelievable saves. I mean, like he kept Lecce in the game. He looked confident.
Yeah,
And
for
listen,
sure.
and he was good at Sampdoria last year, and I don't know why they got rid of him. Um, but he gave some stability, and that goal that they scored in the second half off the counterattack was amazing. Like that, there was a moment of Inter breaking down in the defense. And I have a question for you now. Are you concerned about the defense? Not just because of the way the goal was given up. I'm looking at your lineup right now, okay, and I don't know Inter inside out like I did last year for you
Hmm.
because I've decided to just focus on Lazio and not have to be the Inter guy anymore because I just can't handle it.
You're tired of
But
being called an Inter fan.
fucking hate it. Okay,
I
sorry,
know.
I hate it. You got Demarco and DeVry and Skriniar who started, okay, in the back three, and you got Bastoni who's the first choice to come off.
Yeah.
Who else do you call on?
Well, yeah, and that's why they're trying to fill another spot there. The guy
Holy
that they are
crap!
looking at is you may know more about this player than me because I know you watch more Bundesliga than I do, but now that they've got a little bit of money after selling Casa Day, and I do want to talk about that because I'm a little bit annoyed that they're having to sell another young talent at 19 years old. Who this could be another Zaniolo situation, but Manuel Akanji is a Borussia Dortmund defender that Inter are more than likely going to sign to reinforce the defense a little bit more. But listen, there's when their top three choice center backs are healthy, it's among the best defenses in Italy still.
No
I
doubt,
believe, no doubt, right?
no
But
doubt. Absolutely
when
agree.
you have a healthy Bastoni, who I know, recent international breaks, he's not looked so great with the Azzurri, but with the Nerazzurri, he's been fantastic. Skriniar has been fantastic, and no, I don't think he's going to be sold on deadline day. We'll see. I know that there's still a little bit of buzz coming from the PSG side, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think he is staying. And De Vrij he's on the decline, but he's still very good, and that trio is excellent. But you don't have great replacements, right? I mean, you can bring in someone even like you've got wing backs like DiMarco and Darmian who are capable of playing center back and D'Ambrosio, but you definitely lose a big something defensively when you have to deputize these guys as center backs. They're really wing backs, or they're really backups by nature. So they just need another, because listen, I know Ranocchia was the butt of a lot of jokes for like the last 7 years, like going back to the banter era. He did great last year whenever he was called upon to play. The last couple of seasons, didn't play a whole lot, but when he was called in for spot starts, he always did his job. And the guy is gigantic. So winning aerial battles, very good defending offensively and defensively on set pieces, Ranocchia, because he was like, I don't know what he was, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", something like that, just a gigantic human being, was able to clear opposing corner kicks and free kicks and was able to score some goals on the offensive end on set pieces. So, it's, a squad player that Inter are missing. So they still need more at center back. They don't have a lot of depth there, Jerry, and that depth is going to be tested, right? When you have players like Bastoni and De Vrij, who have had some injury struggles the last couple of years. Milan Skriniar has been a tank, thank goodness. And you're playing in 3 competitions, including Champions League, which is going to be grueling. They don't have a whole lot of depth.
What happened to D'Ambrosio? Is he hurt?
Um, I believe so. Let me because I was watching him in preseason.
I forgot you have him. He would be ahead of Demarco for me. Oh, for the back end.
Nah, he's not.
I think he's just he gives
He's a
you
little bit on
the
the decline.
yeah, but he gives you
Okay,
defensive.
he's not fit right now. He's
I
he
just think he's a more.
he should be fit for Spezia this coming weekend.
I just find that D'Ambrosio is more defensively sound. He's more of a natural fullback. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
more or center fullback. We want to call it center left back, or the heck you want to call it. But yeah, and I see this point here. Inter selling 2 of their Primavera players for 40 million is crazy. Something Lazio can never do. Lazio is in Primavera Due, so there
That's
is
right.
no chance. There's no
Yeah.
chance because you're in a second lower division that Lazio's never been good on the Primavera side. Like I don't remember the last time we've been able to. I think we have one player right now in the system who's with the first team from our Primavera, and like it's very rare. Thomas Shirkosha and
Mm.
Danilo Cataldi came from our Primavera, and like that's what tells you everything, okay, of how the bar is for us. And then we've always been successful finding guys like Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, Ciro Immobile to Close, who came and did a very good job late in his career. To you keep going, and the line keeps going. But my concern is, look at the situation that Inter's in right now. They need to make money. Okay,
Hmm.
can selling your best players in the Primavera hurt you in the long term?
Yes.
That's the question
I
now.
mean,
Like that's
look at Zaniolo. I mean, they swapped Zaniolo and a couple of other players, including Santon, who was a bum, so I didn't mind giving him up, and cash to bring in Nainggolan from Roma like 4 years ago, which was one of the worst moves ever. And listen, I don't care that Zaniolo is hurt all the time. He's still very young and has a ton of potential, and he looks great if he can only find a way to stay healthy. And they sell that guy for a chain smoker who gives you like a handful of goals and virtually nothing for a couple of years. And I don't like this Cazadei thing either, because this guy has been bossing the Primavera. And okay, so you can look at it, because a lot of times, Jerry, when you sell youth players, Primavera guys, a lot of times you're like making these kind of deals within Serie A where you're like sending him to a team like what they've done with Pinamonti for so many years, Inter, what they did with him for so many years, where it's like you send him to like a Genoa at an inflated fee to kind of cook the books, and then you have a buyback. But in this case, you sell Cazadei to Chelsea for 15 million plus 5 in add-ons. And they need the money. That's why they made the move, but there's no buyback. And so so you telling me that Cazadei is good enough to be part of the senior squad at Chelsea, and he's not good enough to be part of the senior squad at Inter? Obviously, they're just doing this for the money, because I think this guy could have helped, and he would have been a first teamer if they didn't sell him. But I think that they just decided, and maybe they're right, hey, we'd rather sell the unknown commodity than have to sell Dumfries or Skriniar right now, because we need Dumfries and Skriniar to try to contend for Serie A this season. But to answer your point, Jerry, in the long run, it absolutely hurts. The same way that selling Zaniolo in the long run absolutely hurts, especially for the awful deal that they made for Nainggolan. And I think selling Cazadei is going to hurt as well. At least you didn't like sell him to Juventus or something. Like, at least he's not going to hurt you in Serie A. But we always hate for players like this to leave Serie A in the first place. But yeah, this is a guy that could have been useful to you for the next 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And you're mortgaging your long-term future for the short-term future. So I hope it pays off.
I was saying this yesterday, and I had a response. It was a friendly conversation. I said that another problem, okay, is that Inter doesn't play this guy, and this is
Yeah.
I know that it's an Italy thing, and like a lot of these guys don't play their younger players. I don't look at A, B, and C. I look at Simone Inzaghi. That's my focus. This guy had Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto was supposed to be a very skilled player. Didn't fucking play him. Played him in the 90th. I remember he did once. He put him on 3 minutes left in the game. This
Jeez.
guy's a baller now for Wolves in the EPL.
Mm.
He's turned out to be a good player. Inzaghi has good young players at Inter. And it's frustrating to see that this guy still can't give, like, you saw the comment there that it basically Inter selling two other Primavera players for 40 million is crazy. If they're that expensive, why aren't they playing these guys? Like,
Right.
you have good young players. Play them.
Especially this one, because like we're not talking about sending this guy to Genoa. Like, you're sending him to
Yeah,
Chelsea, so he's good enough to play at
exactly.
Chelsea. He's not good enough to play here. I highly doubt that.
Chelsea's another one because they throw their fucking academy players to the ground, and it's another frustration because I follow that team as well. But like, staying on the course of Italy, I don't care about Chelsea right now.
Right.
It's this is the one thing with Simone Inzaghi that I just could never understand. Raul Moro, okay, he's not really as good as I thought he would be, but he never got a chance under Inzaghi. Um, I think these players need to like you need to give young players a chance. Look at Sarri, okay? He put Cancellieri in. Game's 2-1 on Sunday. He put Cancellieri in with 10 minutes left. A 19-year-old into the game. He gave him a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry he said it already. We were too old last year.
Yeah.
This year, we didn't go with the big bang, buy a player. We wanted some experience, but we also wanted to get younger, so we were quicker and we can adapt for the future. Um, I don't know if Inter's in that direction right now. They're getting younger because they got a lot of aging players,
Yeah,
and a guy
sure.
like Cassidy can come in and help towards the next 5 years. You know what I mean? Like Inter
Yeah.
has to think too. You got Mkhitaryan in his 30s. You got
He's
Hakan.
already banged up. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hakan is getting
Hakan's going
older.
there. He's getting
Yeah.
older. Brozovic is about to get 30.
Yep.
Dzeko's already in a retirement
He's
home.
already like 35, 36. I think he's going to turn 36 during the
Like,
season.
let's be DeVry. He's gone. He's gone next
Yeah,
summer.
he's like 32, 33. Yeah.
Like, you really have to give this. You have to like. Yeah, DeMarco. Okay, but DeMarco had a fair chance at his
Well,
previous clubs too. You've
right.
seen
And it's
what he can
because,
do.
and I think what Cartel's hitting on the answer there is they're like Inzaghi, and it's not just Inzaghi, it's a lot of Italian managers, but like they will give a player who's younger an opportunity if he's already proven something at other Serie A clubs. Like they're very, very scared to give a chance to someone with Primavera experience and not Serie A experience. Like they're very scared to take that leap of faith. Like they discarded, when they sent Zaniolo to Roma, he had virtually, I think, zero Serie A experience. Like they were willing to discard him. Same thing with Cazadei, willing to discard him, no Serie A experience. So I think that's the difference. Like they will take young players, and Di Marco was Inter owned, but he had been off on loan all those other places. Like they'll take in young guys as long as they played in Serie A, but if they haven't, they're willing to just cast them off, no question.
Okay, so here you got 40 million, but you're not going to see that 40 million either. That's the worst part. So you got all this money
Yeah.
because your team's in debt. So you're not really benefiting by selling your best player. It's just trying to get you back to the money you lost to help you break even, so you can go into the next window and not have been on a loss. Like, I'm not a financial accountant with the whole Serie A. I just know that they need to make sales because of the situation that Suning is. So there's another problem with Suning is that you're selling players and you would rather sell these players for a profit so they can help you in the next window with that money. It doesn't seem like that's the situation. It seems like you're forced to sell players for the sake of the issues that they're in, and you don't want to.
For sure.
I would rather sell a Primavera player for 40 million and know that I can use that money for the next window. Yeah. That's not essentially what is happening in Inter, as I can tell here. But like,
so it's really like it's not really Inzaghi's fault, because I mean if like Inzaghi may be more than happy to use someone like this. It's not really his decision to sell him. He did get some time in the preseason, so it's not really his decision.
Don't ever look at preseason, man. Don't ever look at preseason. That's all I can say.
Yeah, no, I know.
Inter shit the bed in preseason, and
they had a bad preseason. Yeah,
and they still won on Sunday, and they still won Saturday. Juventus had a bad preseason. Everyone freaked out. Came out, looked pretty good on Monday.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, preseason's bullshit, man. I don't ever look at preseason. Like, unless Cassidy was a consistent starter, like our starting lineup on Sunday for Lazio was the lineup that Sarri was kind of.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about Lazio's win, Jerry. That'll be the last thing we hit on before we let everybody enjoy their evening.
Yeah, it was a very weird up and down game. Let's say.
You go down a man in the 6th minute. That's not exactly the way that Sarri drew it up.
There's pots of Inter, and I'm convinced there's pots of Lazio because Lazio is similar to Inter, where they like to make it harder on themselves when they shouldn't have to. That's just the way I've kind of summed it up. You know what, Maximiano, big mistake coming off his line, grabbing the ball outside the box. There's no dispute. I don't know what he's arguing about. He knows I think he's more arguing that he's mad at himself because of the mistake he made, and he knows that he screwed up. But what player isn't gonna like defend and kind of like go against it? But like, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen a goalkeeper do a mistake like that. I'm at the moment, yes, It could have been worse if they lost, but
Oh, for sure, or even tied. I mean, yeah,
yeah, it could
3
have been
points
worse.
are 3 points.
But you know what? I think the biggest takeaway from the game is the fact that Lazio. I've seen it. It's just the beginning, so I don't want to make a big thing out of it because it can drop, it can backfire quickly. But I wrote a piece on this game actually for Get Italian Football News, and one of my takeaways was that, and sorry, actually commented about it in the actual press conference, is that the ability for Lazio to not sulk, sink very low, and lose momentum and morale, even when they went down 1-0, and at halftime they were trailing, they really stepped up their game in the second half.
Yeah, they
Sumato,
did.
Sumato, the defender, sent off, also kind of helped Lazio to even the game at 10-10, and now he should have got a straight red, just like with how Lautaro Martinez was kind of tackled in his game. Same happened with this guy. And Chino Immobile, actually, when he gets the red card, if you watch a replay, he goes in his face and says, "Go home." He's like,
Mm.
"This is what you do at home, not here. Like, this is not how you play football." And he was pretty reckless. And you know what? Second half, they came out. They were, even when they were down a guy, they were attacking, creating
Yeah,
chances.
for sure.
Sarri elected to go with a very offensive squad. He took out Basic, and in the second half, the first guy he took off was Cataldi, and he brings on Luis Alberto. And I think that speaks a lot for two reasons. One, because there is no issues between Sarri and Alberto, and he's been nursing with an injury, and that's the reason why he didn't start the game. And more importantly, is that to be the first choice shows the trust that Sarri has in him. And he elected to go to an offensive minded squad. And I think that just speaks that maybe Sarri's trying to be a little bit fair with his players and giving them a little leeway, a little freedom. Um, so overall, Ciro Immobile delivers the game winner,
As he
79th
usually
minute.
does.
Like, time and time again, this guy, I seen on Twitter yesterday that he gets brownie points, basically, like freebies, and it's like, no, he didn't score from the spot. He scored
Yeah,
by making a good run and a brilliant pass from Savage. Like,
absolutely.
The two, time and time again, just like linking up and being Lazio saviors. And then the first goal was a little bit of a luck. You had Lazzari who crosses it in, ricochets off the Silvestri, and sometimes you need a bounce to go your way. So, and the other takeaway I took, two other takeaways I took from the game was Lazzari can play fullback. He can play as a right back. Like, that was another thing that Sarri touched upon, was that he said that when he arrived, he thought that he couldn't play as a right back.
Yeah,
That
just a wing
Lazzari
back.
just couldn't do it. He's only a wing back. And he said as the season progressed, he started to believe more in himself that he can do it. And now he's gone to the point now where he's confident he can be a right back and contribute to this team and be effective. And he was the best player probably on the pitch on Sunday. And basically the last thing is Alessio Romagnoli. You guys can, everyone can say whatever he wants. His leadership is undoubtedly so valuable to that back line, because what I noticed from him throughout the game was that he was communicating with the back line. He was telling them where to go, where to be. And I never saw that with Acerbi. I think
Yeah.
that is a downfall with Acerbi's game, is that he never really communicated to his D partners where to be or where they're going to be. And I think that for a defense like Lazio, who really struggled last year, to keep a straight line, to be composed, to know what they're doing, and the experience of Alessio Romagnoli coming from a Scudetto winner like Milan and being a leader on that team for many seasons will give the experience to Lazio and the leadership that they really need. That's something that this team was really lacking last year. I know you have Immobile, you got Savage, they did have Lucas Leiva, but his leadership will really come into play. So like we were looking at the way Lazio was making their substitutions. You got a guy like Vecino coming on, and I know that Inter fans are going to make fun of Vecino, but for Lazio, that's experience. That's
Hmm.
someone who can be trusted in a midfield as compared to having to bring on Daniel Akpro. Like in past seasons, Lazio's never been able to kind of have a guy like Vecino to come onto the pitch
Man,
and have
Vecino, he's got Sarri ball in his DNA going back to was it Empoli? So he's got experience there.
and we didn't use, other than Vecino and Romagnoli, we didn't use half of our new players yet. Marcus Antonio couldn't really be featured into this game because of the situation that Lazio was in. Gila didn't play. Casale served a one-game suspension. Cancellieri actually made his cameo, and he looked really good. He looks like he can take over that right wing position over Felipe Anderson if he plays like he did in that 10 minutes on Sunday. He was fast, confident, creating chances, holding the ball. Um, I like the idea of going young players with a mix of veterans where you try to transition to the next 5, 6 years, but you're also still keeping yourself competitive.
I love it. That's well said. I want to send out a huge shout out to everybody who's been live chatting with us before we sign out on this episode. And I hope everyone enjoyed match day one. Cartel, thank you for coming in. Anthony, thank you so much. Lord Figo. Oh, by the way, Jerry, did you see Andre Radu, who made that incredible save he made for Cremonese, except he was in his own net when he brings the ball down. Which I'm not going to miss Radu one bit as far as Inter goes. I did kind of feel bad that error ruined what was an otherwise really good performance because he was making a lot of saves against Fiorentina, but then he catches it right in the back of his own net. That was wild.
Um, do I feel bad? I guess, but at the same time, when does a goalkeeper figure out? Like, I think at the why are you trying to grab that though? I
It's
would try to.
crazy. You
Wouldn't you
parry
try?
it like
Would
bang,
you
bang
not?
it as far as you can.
Yeah, reminds me of Strakosha last year when he did the blunder and he kind of like knocked the ball in his own net and he was trying to
Oh.
like grab it and like I guess he wanted to outduel Maximiano and try to one up him. Like
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game. I it's summer. I don't live in Florida, so I take all the nice weather in while I can.
Fair enough.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna spend Sunday and Saturday watching Serie A for freaking 6 hours.
Yeah, for me being in Florida, I would rather be inside in summer because it's too hot and humid outside. But for you, you enjoy this time.
Yeah, my sister was telling me that it's really really bad there right now.
Oh, it's
But
terrible.
yeah, and then TFC was on the weekend too, so I had to put that in on Saturday night at the game. So and it's actually really cool. Funny story is I was down. Actually, I got a good story for you.
Hmm.
So what I do for press conferences is I put on Lazio gear, and I see how the players will respond to me because I wear Lazio stuff instead of TFC stuff.
Okay.
So, Mavinga asked me after his press conference was done. He actually directed to me. He's like, "Hey, do you speak any Italian?" And
You're like,
I'm like,
see.
no, I said like not really, like a little. And he's like, oh, really? He's like, my Italian's amazing now. He's like, it's gotten better. And he said something to me in Italian though, but I started laughing.
Oh my
And
God.
it's funny because I told the guy in the press box, I'm like, hey, I go watch tonight. I'm gonna trigger a guy wearing this Lazio jersey, and I did it last time, and it actually worked. And it's funny. I actually saw Lorenzo Insigne in the hallway.
He
And he
probably
actually,
gave you an interesting look, like, wait, what?
yeah, he did. But Insigne was nice. He actually said hi to me in the hallway.
Nice.
And it threw me off. I should have said "Ciao, come stai?" Yeah, it was they had like their so the team had like their family and friends come, and what they do is they come and visit and they get like a tour onto the pitch. They get these freebies, man. These
Mm.
players, I saw like all the players downstairs and like I was like, man, these guys are spoiled, man. Like holy crap, I said.
Oh, for
But
sure. It's
but
good.
yeah,
It's good to be a millionaire athlete.
yeah, it's Yeah, it's true. But last thing I guess is that Alberto. Oh yeah, I'll close with this for Lazio. Alberto and Savage are not getting sold this market.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's too late.
Tade confirmed on Sunday that Alberto will not be sold in the transfer market. Those are not my words; those are Tade's words.
Mhm.
And I think that by now Savage is not going to be sold. And you know what? I'm okay with Savage not being sold. I know that people are saying, "Oh, you can make 50 million, you can make 80 million," but I would rather keep the player till the end of his contract. If he leaves, he leaves. But you get 2 solid years of a player who probably wouldn't be maybe as good as the $40 million that it brings in. So it's hard. If unless you're going to replace him with something better or equally as good right now, I think maybe you just hold on. And if you lose him,
Mhm.
you didn't. There's not like you lost a value on him. Like he helped you get to Europa League. You got to
Right.
Champions League. I know you didn't win a Scudetto, but guess what? 6 other teams don't win it either, or 19 other teams don't
19,
win it.
yeah, I was gonna say 19
19,
others, yeah.
19 others. Well, I say six because there's always a six that always compete, and there other
Yeah, the top 7, yeah.
don't even fucking show up. But like, I'll keep it like that. But yeah,
Well, that's fantastic. So thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you follow both of us on Twitter. You see our handles at Alex Donno, at JMancini8. Make sure you follow the show on Twitter at CalcioConPod. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to our audio channel for the podcast. And we will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. Ciao.
Roma Merida. Mafangulo Roma. Oh fuck! I didn't end
Yeah,
it.
you got to shut this one down. You got
Motherfucker,
you
I
got
was
the
waiting for
controls.
you.
I don't.